For the person, it'll be a natural association. For you doing the chart, it's worth reading to be able to make use of it. It took me 20 to 30 years of my astrological career to write, rewrite, and fix it and adjust it, put it down, come back at it, to evolve these progressive these moon phases. So you try them. If they don't work for you, they don't work for you. But this will work for the person. They'll see it. These are noticeable guidelines. So okay, now we're at the progressed sun chart and the moon moving around the 3 times. So you have the progressed sun chart in yellow. Okay, and this one is not like the Saturn graph where Saturn's where it's set by the signs here, the ascendant's on the left, just on this type of chart form. So we see the sun in Cancer in the 8th house. We know in the first year of her life it went into Leo. She was a big kid in 81, and it stayed in Leo till she's 31. Then it's 31 to 61, it's in Virgo. And from 61 to 91, it'll be in Libra. So she goes from the sun rulership, I gotta have the best, to Virgo. I'm trying to figure things out, and it's the thinking, developing the thinking in the 9th house of what's right, what's wrong. And she's been doing that. What's right, what's wrong. She got married, she had someone else, and the other person wasn't matching her energy. She was doing everything, and it wasn't right. So she had, that was her development through this, the sun, and with other things going on. Her progressed sun was learning that way. And then, but it's still building up to the midheaven at 2040, which is the peak of her career cycle. And she has her progressed new moons were in 81, 2010, where the moon would move around and be in Virgo, and in 2040, the 2040, at the beginning of the year, the progressed sun's on the midheaven. By 2040, still at the beginning, also at the same time, then the progressed new moon's happening right on top of the midheaven, and it's happening both 24. So that points to really high-profile situations. She has the destiny to live up to out in the world. She's going to be more well-known. She's going to accomplish it. She's driven to do that. She's not driven to set up the home and set up the family. That's not the strong suit. So that she doesn't have kids, that she may not have that. That may be a bit of a haunting thing for her. But really, it's a motivating factor to do something else that make her life meaningful, socially meaningful, worthwhile, have accomplishments, friends, culture around you. So that's the sun going up, the drive to accomplish more. It's going through the 8th house of trust, of exchange, of business, of sharing in relationships, of putting energies together, of inheritances, of divorces, of settlements, all kinds of deals. It goes through that. And then it's going to go over her Jupiter, which is a positive thing, but there's a pride element there. Then it goes into Virgo. She starts thinking about these, and it shifts into the Virgo phase, and then goes into the 9th house, and it evolves to an understanding what's right or wrong, the morality and the principles of things, what's right or wrong, trusting. So even though she's always trying to trust and do the business, instead of just business for business sakes, it's changing. She bought the house with the husband, and the husband turned out to be not good, and ripped her off, and she had to let that go. And now she's thinking, what's right and what's wrong? She has another agenda inside it. She's still going to do business, but she's going to be measuring what's right or wrong. That's a very positive addition to her capacity to work with people, to be able to know who's right or who's wrong. And to be able to have her sun guiding her, progressed sun guiding her for that. It'll lead to how well she does that will determine how high a profile and how much accomplished she gets. Okay, so it's past Saturn. The new moon was in 2010, September 8th. Okay, that's 9 years ago. And then moved along. By the time it started coming closer to Pluto, this moon would be moving around, but by the time the moon, it's 7 years to get to the ascendant. So by 2017, it's on the ascendant. Again, in 2017, she starts her astrology studies. It's almost aligned with Saturn. This is 2017. Saturn hit the ascendant on 2017. So her progressed moon has moved into alignment with Saturn. So it's moving along the same as Saturn. And we'll do this for a lot of years and slowly separate, but it's really close together now. So I had this for a number of years in my life. Her moon is before, there's her moon in Aquarius, her Saturn's in Aries. By the time it's around 1.5 and Saturn's moved forward, they've lined up so they're both working at the same time. Okay, so the lunar return happens at 27.5, progressed lunar return. The Saturn returns at 30, so that Saturn return crisis of it starts at 27.5 till 29.5. From the moon return to the Saturn return, that's the first growing up crisis in our life. By 30, where are we? But it's coming, so now it's moved up and there's not the same year's gap. They're happening at the same time. So 2017, her moon's in the first house, her Saturn's in the first house. She's not secure about it, but she knows she knows she's moving away from the status and position, be doing her own thing more. And she's seeing, if I do astrology, it may not make as much money, but I might be happier doing it, or maybe it'll make more, or whatever. Like she's thinking, but she's still got to be studying and learning. So you're directing her into this personal growth. Okay. Yeah, so that's now, but it's going to build up around. Going to go along. It's going to come up when it comes back up to the full moon. The rest full moon will be in was in 1995. Oh, no, sorry, behind. The full moon is 2024 November. She gets to the full moon. So in 5 years, she's at a progressed full moon. She sees where she gets to. This is by this time the progressed sun will have gone over to Pluto, over the Uranus, in her understanding of what's real, what's not, what do I want, what don't I want, where do I want to be. And it comes up in the full moon. She has somewhat of an enlightenment around that. All in the third, ninth house of studying, learning, philosophy. So if you see this development of astrology, she's going to blossom in her understanding by seeing it against the things that have happened in her life. You can see that progression from trusting, from sharing, from business, to seeing it go all wrong and having to control yourself and realizing some people are idiots that don't do it right. I got myself free and it's starting to work. And the astrology is part of that. So she's going to have a story to tell that's going to be helpful for other people in these situations. And as this gets learned by the full moon, it's going to build up to her midheaven. When the new moon's on her midheaven, she's going to be very accomplished and well known by that time, doing what she wants. The Libra Venus rules that. So it's I'm just working the chart. I'm looking at, like, I haven't even looked at so much the above or below the horizon phases of the moon being above, but her sun is going up. The moon goes down and up and goes around 30 years for each one, just as Saturn goes around. Now our moon and Saturn are aligned. There's not a gap between two, so they all happen right at once, and it's maybe more intense, but it gets things done more quickly. But the moon is reinforcing the Saturn now. It's reinforcing the same direction as Saturn. I inwardly need to do this. I need to personally grow inwardly and see my inner growth going, and I need to work at new things. I need to study things with Saturn going below the horizon. The two are aligning with the same message. So, and this just came in as she was studying astrology. Wow, what an incredible process. It would confirm things so much for where she is, for what she's doing. It was a great time to be starting to study astrology. And so we're seeing a basic thing. We see the basic path of where the progressed sun is going, and that's up to 2040. So that's 21 years from now. You know, if I'm around, I'll be in my 90s if I get that far. But she won't be. But she'll still be in her 60s, 70s. She's going to be high profile and well known. She'll be the judge capable of seeing where people are right or wrong. People coming to her to ask about it. So I think in this process, most likely with the sun coming up through this ninth house that she's going to write some books or put a movie or videos together or do something She's already translating some things and doing things in China on the web. So I think that's going to build up and steadily build up bigger and bigger. And she's going to become known for it. So we got that basic sense. We see this, we got the Saturn, we see where the sun's going, we see the moon coming along the lineup of Saturn now. We got a few hints. I mean, you can get the exact dates when Saturn, moon's crossing the angles, and you'll see it's falling around Saturn now. So we've already done it with the Saturn. I'm not going to go over it now. But okay, we look at that now. I want to see what happens with Mercury. Just to know, her Mercury starts in Cancer. It should go straight forward almost all her life. She has to get to 1956. So she's born 67. So 56. So she's got to be 89 before Mercury goes retrograde at 89 years old. She may not get there. If she does, there'll be a turning around in Mercury. We'll go back a little bit, but it's going straight forward, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, up to the midheaven. By 2022, it's going to be on the midheaven. Now, that tells me that's the time where having a book, a movie, or something, a website, having these things together and working as the astrologer could easily come about, working as a counselor. That is, and whether she may not just do astrology, she may do astrology for business people and how to invest. Or she may take it more philosophically or principally, but Mercury's coming up there, and I think she'll have a book or some special work done where she's going to be known or she's going to accomplish by the time her progressed Mercury gets up to her midheaven. But she has to trust, believe, work on it. It's evolving in that way. She's seeing what's right. Not everybody is seeing what's right. So there are a lot of people making idiots of themselves. But her Mercury's going forward. It's not backing up. It's like mine went forward, backed up, went forward. So I had to go back and forth over the whole same thing 3 times. It took a lot of time of my thinking. It's only going forward now that I can start putting my ideas out, and they're well-rounded. So then we're going to look at her Venus. Her Venus is a different story. Of course, her Neptune was opposing her Venus. That was the trouble she got in, supporting a person, believing in him, paying for the rent, paying for the mortgage, carrying the guy. He's not working. Okay, I'll carry you. But he's just using it. And it just, she had to get rid of it and force the buyout. So he took over her place because he didn't want to move. He had to take it over and work it. And she had to let go and move on. But so here's her Venus. It starts in the 9th house. It's a moralistic Venus. What's right or what's wrong? What's principled, what's not principled. So you have the Sun in the 8th house of doing business. Now the Venus is based on doing right business, good business, principled business, having good alignments, not bad alignments. It's not normally afflicted in her nature. So she's naturally open to sharing or open to being appreciated. But her Venus went forward until night. And let me just I'll blow this up a bit bigger so we can see it a bit bigger here. Okay, so we can see the numbers anyways. There we go. I'll just wait till you can see this. Well, it's not showing on mine, but I hope you can see it. Okay, so here, her Venus went forward from 9 degrees of Virgo, ruled by Mercury, and it went retrograde in 1983. So her Venus went forward till 1983. Okay, now 1983, just going to back up for another second, just to remind myself of something. The Saturn here. 83, 2008, 97, 87, 81, Saturn went above the horizon in 81. So 83 is still in the 7th house, moving towards the 8th. Squares the sun in 83. Okay, from the 11th to the 8th, that was midheaven. The midheaven was going up through, and it was the Saturn was in the 11th, just in the 11th house, squaring the sun. Okay, that's what I wanted to see, where it was coming up to the IC before. So here we go. We're going back down here.